Before I begin, let me warn you that I'm going to be speaking in circles to not catch the confused algorithm of certain platforms. One time I was discussing someone perhaps bringing about their own demise, and I received all kinds of emails saying, if you're thinking about doing something to yourself, I'm thinking, no. This is what happens when you have machine, learning and algorithms. So forgive me if I speak, rather circuitously regarding this. If you wanted to prevent Diddy from suffering the same fate as another person, it's very simple how you would do it. First and foremost, he is in federal custody, so you would move him to one of these places that's virtually empty. He's not going to court all the time. Granted, he may have some problems dealing with his lawyers, but if you really had somebody who you were concerned might precipitate their own demise or might be the target of somebody within the system, and prison officials can't ever admit that. They can't say, we want to protect him from us. Doesn't make any sense. What you would do is you would take him to a place, to perhaps an not abandoned, but an Air Force base or some federal facility that's not even necessarily designed as a prison, but that you can have all kinds of closed-circuit TV and monitoring and the like. You would have special forms of cameras and the like to detect temperature changes in skin, dermal temperatures, indicating perhaps the onset of trauma, the initiation of trauma, drop in body temperature, anything that could signal something bad is about to happen. You would have the person wear paper garments, paper clothing, paper robes, paper pants, paper shirts. There's nothing with that could in any way be used as containing ligature. Things that are just, of course, temperature has to be accommodated, but flimsy, for lack of a better word. You would have all foods tested, and you would let people know you were testing, and you were testing for certain things. And the black arts, the black arts of poisonings years ago, there's a concept called noose on a bun. And people who are especially in confinement like this can be given a series of foods that contain substances which, if tested, do not indicate anything untoward or problematic or poisonous or what have you. But when mixed with another kind of a binary type of combination, then they become toxic. Then they become venomous. Then they become problematic. And even when they break down, they will break down into substances and chemicals and trace elements that one would find in the body anyway, potassium and the like. And this has been done forever. Noose on a bun. You can check it. Yeah, I can bring it to you. You can look at it. Looks like water to me. It looks like... This is if you really wanted to do it. What you then do is you remove him from any kind of interaction with anyone, a cellmate or the like. The man whose name begins with an E, who met his untimely fate, whose letter is the fifth letter of the alphabet that we will refer to as, for purposes of... It's not that Big Brother's watching you, it's that big algorithm brother is watching you. In any event, there was a fellow he was in cell with. This hulking ex-former police officer that who was on trial for, and nobody ever followed through, giving people perhaps the suspicion that maybe somebody said, if you're facing something that is beyond where you're sunk, you're facing either the death penalty or something, and you were to do something to affect, help, assist in perhaps eliminating someone, and I want you to look at this. Go back, and I'm not going to go through the point at the time of this, as I was bringing to people's attention. Nobody was interested in any of this because, of course, the media and others have the investigative skills of a 5-year-old. But what I'm saying is you want to keep people out of your cell, because if I put you in a cell with somebody who has nothing to lose, and somehow you get into some kind of fight with this person, and lo and behold, terrible things happen, and God forbid there is an untimely of this person whose safety we wanted to ensure, but he's not here anymore, you could say, oh, well, that's prison life for you. That's the jail. What are you going to do? We can't give him special treatment when others don't have it as well. I mean, there's a million ways to do it. But from somebody who knows a little bit about this, and from somebody who I think has a PhD in common sense, what is the most interesting is that if you're going to eventually find that the elimination of somebody from the equation might be best, it makes more sense to prevent the equation from occurring in the first place. Have this person meet some form of demise or accident or disappearance before the need for indictment and the like. Why does this happen? Why do people get themselves in a jam, so to speak, and then once they're in custody, then all eyes are on them? As in this person, he could have been disappeared years ago. Nobody would have even known his name. They would have said, and believe me, you'd have to say, well, there was this guy, and he was in New York, and he was a financier, sort of, and he knew a lot, whatever. And that's it. Nobody would care. But no, it's like they want you to see that he's disappeared. They want you to see what they've done. They want you to understand that no one is safe, that no one is beyond their reach, that anybody can be taken. So I don't care what you say. Diddy is in danger in more ways than he could ever imagine, so long as he remains in the regular system, because so many terrible things can happen, and the country and others will say, oh, well. Don't forget what Bill Barr said. Bill Barr, who was a prior attorney general, who actually thought that our friend was via his own hand, which is absurd when you have hyoid and thyroid cartilage fracture, petechial hemorrhaging, and all of the indicia of strangulation and homicide. I mean, sometimes if I didn't know better, I would think these people just like to do this to put it right in front of your face. What do I know? All right, dear friend. Now it's time for you to do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And most importantly, below in the area here, comment as you see fit.